one thing that I'm doing with the kids, when I came back from my first GoBundance event ever was in Dallas, and Travis Bell spoke, and he's the bucket list guy. And I was I still have his book here. I can keep it with me all the time. And I wanted to really implement this with the kids. And this is something that I wanted to do with them. And most guys think about when they're doing their one sheet or whatever, they're thinking about their bucket list. And I don't want to poke anything, but they're thinking about their stuff. And I'm putting my stuff down. And I said, you know what? I get my bucket list down. I said, I need to do this with my kids. I need to figure out what their bucket list stuff is so that I know what what's important. So I know what's important to them in life. And one step further is I said, I need to do this with my wife. I need to understand what her bucket list is so that I can make her goals my goals. And so very quickly I guess that was early into 2023, after an ice hockey game, my son and I went to a diner, and on the back of the checks I carry around with me every day in my book, in the back of a little check, we wrote down, I said, Easton, what's important to you, buddy? And we wrote down a whole bunch of stuff that he wanted to try to do in the year. He wanted to go to a Caps ice hockey game. He wanted to rent jet skis at the lake house. He wanted to jump off like a high jump or a pool high jump. He wanted to go snowmobiling. He wanted to go skiing. He wanted to do some type of flying with his uncle. He wanted to do an RV camping trip, and he wanted to go to a NASCAR race. And so I was like, wow, okay, this is great. And because I have the list, we can start planning these things out. We can start doing things. And we got about 80% of that done just last year. And then the other stuff will roll over to next year. And then so on my one sheet, what I said over Christmas, because we're sitting at home and it's the end of the year and all the kids are home. So on my one sheet, on the cool thing about the bucket list book, it gives you like an architecture, because it's not just travel and trips. It gives you a cool architecture for things to think about. So it's like, meet a personal hero. So who's a hero in your life?
Ooh, nice.
What are your proudest achievements? Buy that something special. Ultimate challenges. Conquer a fear. And so conquer a fear was be on a podcast. So you are helping me achieve one of my bucket list items. Kind act for others. Express yourself. Take lessons. Leave a legacy. Idiotic stuff, satisfy a curiosity, and travel adventures. And that's my bucket list down there. And so travel adventures is just one of the things. So with each of the kids on my one sheet under the bucket list tab, I have all those items lined up. And then the kids, and I say, each kid has a line. Hey, who's your hero? What is the challenge you want to do this year? And one thing that was really cool that came out of that was my daughter wanted to run a half marathon. And my daughter Brinkley, and I was looking under ultimate challenges. And then under my ultimate challenges, I was looking for a Misi Yogi for 2024. I was like, I can't barely run 2 miles right now because my knee hurts. I was like, I'll run a half marathon with you. Let's do it when we go to the beach this summer. So because I had her bucket list, I was able to line up 2 activities, and now we can create a memory together and run a half marathon on the beach this summer when we're having a family vacation. And so that is something that it's awesome to think that all this came together from GoBundance and understanding my kids, their biggest wishes and desires. And then you can look, and some things have already come true from, we put down there in Christmas this year, we put some things down for my kids. And some things we've already been able to check off some stuff. And man, does that feel good to show them, hey, look, we got this done. We did this. And so
I love that so much.
It's creating memories with your kids and your family is really special. And that's one thing that's awesome about GoBundance is about the family time, the making memories, the time doing big things. And you certainly can't take, the money with you and do those great, amazing things with your kids and your family. And so it certainly adjusted my mindset around that. Like this weekend, we're going to play, my daughter Brinkley and I, we're going to Delaware turf to play field hockey all weekend. Instead of driving back and forth, I said, she loves the beach. I said, let's run a beachfront condo. We're going down to the beach, you and me, We rented a fun Ford Bronco just to drive something fun down for the weekend on the Toro. You got me on the Toro.
Yeah.
And so we're renting a Bronco. We're driving to the beach. We're going to do a lot of field hockey, but in our time off, we'll be able to sit on our patio and go out to dinner and eat on the water and just like really bond. And I probably wouldn't have done that, taking advantage of that time, if it hadn't been for Go Abundance and bucket list stuff and just knowing what your kids want. So I hope that answers. I hope that answers the question.
It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love the marrying up of and that's something I'm trying to do constantly is marry up what I'm doing in my business life with my kids and how I can do all of that, and learning about the stuff in our business life can really affect how we even communicate with our kids about the stuff, or the mistakes that we're making, all the different things that we could do, and like the marrying up of your bucket list stuff, your personal bucket list with your kids' bucket list. Absolutely love. This year was the first year I've done that with my kids where I sat down. I mean, my two oldest are 9 and 5. So sitting down, okay, what are your bucket list items, right? One of them is, go camping. Okay, easy. Like that's for a 5-year-old, that's clearly a bucket list item is to go camping, right? So, I mean, we've done camping in the backyard together, but that was not quite the camping. Like, one of the things that my 5-year-old wants to do, he's like, I want to go camping somewhere where I can go into a cave where there are bats. And I was like, all right, now I got to find somewhere we can go camping where there's a cave that are bats, And one of the things they wanted to do, they were learning in something in homeschool where there's a massive banyan tree down in like Fort Myers, Florida. So my wife had a day off from work, and we said, all right, let's jump in the car. So we just jumped in the car and hit one of their things that they wanted to do, a little mini family adventure. Went to this large banyan tree and checked out all these different things. And I was like, what the heck? Like, it's one of the beauties about working from home and doing the homeschool thing that I do now. And I'm just like, I can. Wherever, like if it's a moment where the kids are ready and I can bring them there, like let's do it. Why? Like don't waste the time. Take advantage of it because you have in here one of your favorite books that you mentioned was the family board meeting. And when you only have 18 summers and you only have these things that you need to do with your family, like putting that as a priority, well over making $1 bajillion or whatever it is. I've called multiple people out on their bucket list stuff like you're saying about, where's your family on any of this? Like your family has nothing to do with your bucket list stuff, really? Like none of the biggest things you have in your life you want to do with your wife and kids. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap. Yeah, I totally do. And I made that mistake massively when I built my entire future, my wife's future, my kids' future, my future. I wrote it all out on a piece of paper and never talked to my wife and kids about it at all. I just said, no, this is our future. And it was like, you selfish idiot, like, no, like they have a huge part in this. So I mean, absolutely love that you're already engaged in doing that and crushing that. But tell me about the family board meeting. I know that was an important book for you, but tell me about like what you're implementing from it, what you took away from that, and how your family has been.
I know a lot of guys have read it. I was late to the game, but I was like, okay, give me the book. I'll read that thing, and I got a big stack of books. It's funny thing is I wasn't even a reader, and in the last year I've become a voracious reader. Nice. And family board meeting was one that was I think maybe the second or third book I read, and I was like, hey, this is about just taking advantage of the time. And so that just goes back a little bit to taking advantage of the time we have. We can't travel a ton with the kids, but it's just making the best memories with what you can do. And so like I mentioned, the trip to the beach this weekend, we're there to play field hockey, but we're going to make the most of every minute while we're there and be on the beach and go for walks and go and have lunch on the dinner on the water. And so, and then with my son, that's why I was really passionate about always making sure we went on a ski trip each year, even though it was just for 2-3 days, like a weekend. We would squeak up to Killington and go skiing. And so, but that book just gives you kind of like a lens to be looking through. I'm not able to do something every month with my kids, but when you get that opportunity, the lens of like, let's make this really special. How do we do it? Taking advantage of that little bit of time that you do have, because I do have a daughter in college, and she's not at home anymore. It's, we went out to dinner last night for my daughter's birthday, my other daughter Brinkley, and it's like, oh man, we just got to see her. And then my other daughter next year is going to go to college. So it's going to be just Easton and my wife and I at home. It's going to be, quieter, and you missed, and the kids are gone. And so you don't know what's going to happen after college, if they're going to move back in or if they're not. And my kids are great. Everybody gets along. I'm super lucky in that regard with, everybody's very harmonious in our house. My daughters are best friends. that they laugh and joke. They have an incredible relationship, which I'm so happy about. Their joking and friendship is amazing, and I just feel so blessed by that, because I know many families where the kids claw tooth and nail and absolutely hate each other, and what that does to a family. We all get along, all the kids get along, and it is amazing. And so we just want to try to take advantage of all the time we have together, because there are two girls one in college, another one going to college. And so it's like, let's make the most of these, like really hone in on trying to make the most of the time together.